UFC Vegas 55 goes down this Saturday night. Holm versus Vieira. Very good main event, man. A lot of people will complain about the women main events, but you know what, man? I mean, if there was ever a handful of women that I'm okay with main eventing a card, it's a legend like Holly Holm, man, former champion, of course, the most famous women's MMA knockout in history against Ronda Rousey. I don't mind seeing that in the highlight reel for the rest of my life, and I mean, yeah, Holly Holm fights sometimes they can be a little lackluster. It's just her style, but like if you know what you're watching and like you watch the technique in Holly Holm's kickboxing, I mean, she's one of the best women strikers to ever do it in the UFC. And in Ketlin Vieira, she's been like a top 10 girl for a long time now. I think ever since she beat Kat Zingano, she's been kind of hanging around. There was inactivity there for a little while, but you know what? She's bounced back. She's got the style to make this very interesting against Holly Holm because let's be honest, this is a complete striker versus grappler matchup, and it's a good one. Co-main event: Santiago Ponzinibbio taking on Michelle Pajea. I mean, what a fucking banger! This card, it's just 11 fights. It's kind of a smaller slate, but this card's got action all over it. I love it from a betting perspective. Firstly, to get out of the way, I'm never going to be the guy to run from losses. I did take a L on this past card. I lost 6 units. That was basically all the Maximov play. If Maximov would have came through, the parlay would have cashed. Big swing, it would have been a winning night. But hey, I mean, I made a bad bet. I knew going in Andre Petroski round 1 was going to be the scariest, for Maximov. But yeah, he fucking caught him with that choke, man. It is what it is. I thought Maximov's sub defense would have been a little better, but hey, we are on to bigger, better things. If this year's trend has been any indication, I'm gonna fucking bounce back, man. Because the last time I took a losing event, I went on to win 3 straight events. The time I lost before that, I lost 2 straight events after that. The time after that, before that, I won 9 straight events. I mean, I'm like 14-4 on events this year, guys. So the bounce back is coming. We don't got to worry about that. I got 4 bets on this card, so let's get into the damn thing. So I'm gonna start off with the first fight of the night. We got Elise Reed. She's taking on Sam Hughes. I believe Elise Reed is sitting in the range of about minus 155 or minus 151 now, I see. So a little bit of money coming back on Sam Hughes. It started off with Elise Reed getting steamed. I saw she got up to like minus 180 in some spots. Ohio State, appreciate you, bro, as always. Yeah, so we've gotten some back and forth action on this fight, and yeah, I mean, this is a fight I sure as hell won't have any action on. The thing with Sam Hughes, man, like I look to fade her every single fight. I just don't think she's UFC caliber. It's just ugly, man. It's ugly. She's very tough. You saw that in her last fight. She outworked the fuck out of Estela Nunes, but this is a much different fight here. Even though I don't think Elise Reed is anywhere near the striker Estela Nunes is, the reason why Sam Hughes had success in that fight is because Estela Nunes completely dropped off cardio-wise. Now, she did the same thing in the Carnelossi fight, but I thought that was maybe just more because of, Carnelossi's build, the way she was fighting. She was making Nunes work with the wrestling a lot and, grinding in the clinch with a very jacked fighter, a very strong fighter. That shit can be tiring. So I gave Estela Nunes the pass on that one. Comes out against Sam Hughes, and she looks like a fucking minus 1,000 in the first round, picking Sam Hughes apart as you should do with Sam Hughes. The striking defense is horrible. I want to say she eats about 5.7 strikes per minute. Estella was teeing off, but then she just kind of fell off cardio-wise. You know what I don't think Elise Reed is going to do? I don't think she's going to fall off cardio-wise. Now, like I said, I don't know if Elise Reed is quite as skilled as a Nunes, so maybe like that first round won't be quite as dominant, but I just see her being slightly ahead of Sam Hughes. Now, Elise Reed, I'm not convinced she's UFC caliber either. Let's be real, but hey, I mean, at least she came out, won a legit fight in her last one, and with the Sajara Eubanks, excuse me, that was at 125 pounds. Eubanks is a former 35er. Elise Reed, a natural strawweight. That was just a shit show of a matchup for Elise Reed. So props to her for coming back, bouncing back on her next one, and I think she keeps on rolling. I think she makes it 2 straight here. I mean, let's be real. Sam Hughes is it's not the hardest matchup in the division. I mean, the girl has basically no striking defense. She really doesn't have much wrestling. Like, I don't know. But you could honestly say the same thing with Elise Reed, to be honest. This is just a very low level fight where I just think Elise Reed is slightly better, and I think she slightly edges this fight. So something like minus 150, that sounds about right to me. So I'm going to go with Elise Reed. I'll say a 29-28 decision. Moving on to this next one, man. Oh, my goodness. We got Felipe Colares, minus 185. He's taking on Chase Hooper, plus 160. So a lot of money coming in on Felipe Colares. It actually opened up as a pick'em in my book. Got steamed up to like minus 150 by the time I looked into it. Man, I started looking into this fight. I'm like, holy shit, an opportunity to face Chase Hooper. We all know the deal with Chase Hooper. The guy is no bueno on the feet. It is not good at all. Very bad, in fact. Very hittable. I mean, he looks like the wacky waving inflatable tube man out there. It's not very good at all. But it's his grappling that has gotten him some wins in the UFC. You know, I want to say he pounded out the shitty Tamer brother, and then he got that come from behind sub win over against Peter Barrett. You know, okay, so this is Chase Hooper's. It's basically his only strength is his submission grappling. You know what Felipe Colares is actually kind of decent at? He's a decent BJJ black belt. The guy's a good grappler. I don't think he's ever been subbed. You can absolutely tell me if I'm wrong. Let's look real quick. Has Felipe Colares been subbed? When I looked this up, it was like 5 days ago. 3 decision losses. So yeah, I mean, Colares has never been subbed. So I mean, one would think this is a bad stylistic matchup for Chase Hooper because the one strength he has is basically neutralized by a fellow black belt in Felipe Colares. Felipe Colares looks also in fucking phenomenal shape on Instagram. Not that that's the be all end all or anything, but when the guy, you know, looks in a little bit better shape next time, I mean, that's something to take notice of. Here's the thing, man. All those things I said about Chase Hooper on the feet, you could say the same thing about Felipe Colares. The guy is bad on the feet. His offensive striking, I guess it's all right, but like it doesn't matter because most of the time he's just getting teed off on. I mean, the guy's a complete punching bag. He's lucky he has an amazing chin. I'm actually going to come out here and make a case for Chase Hooper. I haven't heard anybody make yet, and here it is. So Chase Hooper actually did part of this camp with Stephen Wonderboy Thompson and Wonderboy's dad out there, wherever that gym is, and I think it's South Carolina, I want to say. But here's the thing. Chase Hooper has some long limbs, and if he's training that karate style with Wonderboy, you know, he's learning how to kick, he's learning how to keep distance. I mean, okay, so I want to say Ryan Hall, he was training with Wonderboy as well, and Wonderboy taught him how to kick, and then he went in there against a complete punching bag and Darren Elkins, and Ryan Hall was kicking him all over the place. Now, I'm not saying Chase Hooper is going to come in here and kick Felipe Colares all over the place. What I am saying is I think a lot of the minutes played out on the feet might not be as favorable for Colares as you guys might think. Like, it's bad. Like, it's really low level on the feet. I think both guys are going to have moments here, and don't be surprised if Chase Hooper is showing off some. I mean, okay, firstly, Chase Hooper's like what, 21, 22 years old. We haven't seen him in like over a year. Like, he's bound to make improvements. I don't know, man. I think this is, although it's kind of bad stylistically for him and the grappling wise, this is actually going to be one of the few fights he's going to have where like it's not going to be a total bloodbath standing. I actually think he can have some moments. I think he can have some moments on the ground. Now, would I be shocked if he subbed Colares? Kind of. We haven't seen Colares get subbed. He's very tough, has a lot of heart. But would I be shocked if Chase Hooper won rounds? Like if he got on top, he took the back? No, I wouldn't. So like this is one of the best matchups you can give Chase Hooper in the division. He's plus 160. I'm going to be honest with you guys. It's clearly not appealing to bet on Chase Hooper, and that's why there's very little action on him, hence the line movement. I get it. It's not appealing at all, but this actually might be one of the spots where he could fucking win a fight, man. And I would rather bet Chase Hooper plus 160 than Felipe Colares minus 185. Everything is about lines in this game. And yeah, I think it's Chase Hooper or pass. Me personally, oh my gosh, I can't do it. Like, honestly, I think there's so many other good spots on this card that I don't feel the need to take a chance on a guy who probably isn't going to last in the UFC. So yeah, I'm good personally. I like my other spots, but man, if you want to take a dog shot on Chase Hooper, like I'm not going to laugh at you like a lot of people will. So moving on to this next one, we got Jonathan Martinez. He's minus 220. He's taking on Vince Morales plus 185. So it looks like this is my first bet of the night, and it's on the underdog. I have 2 units on Vince Morales at plus 185. I know a lot of you guys will probably be calling me crazy for this one, but listen, I get it to a degree why Jonathan Martinez is the favorite. Vince Morales, he doesn't check leg kicks. I mean, it is what it is. Like it's just, I mean, it's no good. Like he just doesn't check. Like he hasn't learned from it. I don't know. I don't know if it's a reaction thing. I don't know what the fuck it is. He just can't check leg kicks. And every fight, even the ones he wins, like he gets fucking kicked, man. Even the Smolka fight where he blew him out of the water 2 minutes. Watch that fight. Smolka landed some good leg kicks. Jonathan Martinez is a good kicker. Now, do I think he's the kind of kicker Chris El Guapo Gutierrez is? No. Do I think he's going to blow Vince Morales out of the water like Gutierrez did? No. Do I think Vince Morales is the same guy who fought Chris Gutierrez? No, he's clearly fucking improved, man. Vince Morales is, he's turned himself into quite the decent fighter. He's got hands. He's got power. I want to say he's got 3 or 4 knockdowns in the UFC. Obviously, the last one, he went out there and put out Smolka 2 minutes in. Even Davey Grant had to go out there and lose a round to Louis Smolka. Who the fuck has ever gone out and knocked out Louis Smolka in the first round? I want to say it's never been done before. So that win was, you got to take notice of that win, man. I honestly think this line is a little disrespectful on Vince Morales. The thing here, he can't let Jonathan Martinez keep that distance on him because Martinez will get off on those kicks, not just the leg kicks. He's going to be ripping the body. He's going to be head kicking. Here's the thing with Martinez. When he has that distance, it's all fine and dandy. But when guys pressure him, when guys close the distance, there's major defensive flaws and there's massive durability issues with Jonathan Martinez. You saw it in his last fight against Alejandro Perez. When he was able to keep the distance, it was nice. He was outpointing him easily. When Alejandro Perez actually pressured and threw and got on the inside in these close quarter boxing exchanges, he was fucking Jonathan Martinez up. He knocked him down. He hurt him really, really bad at the end of the first round. Like, you can argue Jonathan Martinez got saved by the bell in that first round in that fight against Alejandro Perez. Second round starts again. It's all fine and fucking dandy. He's going out there and he's doing his thing against Alejandro. And then towards the end of the round, what happens? Alejandro pressures. He gets on the inside. He fucking hurts Martinez again at the end of the second round. Now Martinez won enough of that second round to where it was still scored for him. So he did take the 29-28 unanimous decision, but man, had Alejandro had a little bit more success in that second round, we would have been looking at another Martinez loss. And it's not just the Alejandro fight, guys. Like Jonathan Martinez. Now, yes, I know Davey Grant is a beast. He's out here knocking fools out. He's going to splits with fucking Yanez, winning rounds off Cheeto. Like, Davy Grant's a very good fighter, but like, it's not even just the Alejandro fight. It's not just the Davy Grant fight. Like, UFC debut against Andre Sukumtoth, he was hurting him all over the place. There was another fight too where no, the Thomas Almeida fight, I bet Martinez there. I knew that was going to be the goods for Martinez, because I think that was Thomas Almeida's first fight back after like 3 years or some shit. Andre Ewell fight. He lost the Andre Ewell fight, but like, I mean, it should have gone for him, but he just fucking he wasn't thrown enough. And Andre Ewell, you know, when he was able to do his thing, when you're able to put Martinez in the place he doesn't like on the feet, like, shit goes down for him, man. And Vince Morales has the style to pressure. He pressured very successfully against Smolka. I know you can argue Smoke is kind of a punching bag, but like, bro, Jonathan Martinez is kind of a punching bag. Like, let's be real. Like, the boxing, it's just not there. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, he's very hittable in these close exchanges, and he's not the most like, if he was super durable, he could get away with this shit and he'd have more wins on his record. But you know, he's not. And I mean, how many? So I said earlier, Vince Morales has like 3 or 4 knockdowns in the UFC. Let's see if I'm in fact telling the truth about this. So he knocked down Luis Smolka. He knocked down Benito Lopez. He knocked down Domingo Polarte. He didn't knock down Song Yadong, but he did hurt him in that fight. I want to say he hurt Ayman Zahabi too. I want to say he hurt fucking Draco Rodriguez too. Like, Vince Morales has some underrated power, man. And like, just watch each guy's last fight if you haven't dug into this fight at all, into the tape at all. Like, plus 185, it seems a little disrespectful to me. So 2 units on Vince Morales, man. Just get on the inside. Don't let Martinez get off on those kicks, and I think you have an excellent chance to not just win, but knock Jonathan Martinez out. So that's a big play for me, man. I'm going to have Vince Morales in a lot of DraftKings lineups. Obviously, I got the bet, so let's go, Vince Morales. He's my favorite underdog of this card, man. So moving on, we got Omar Morales. He's about minus 140. Uros Medic, he is about plus 120, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so somewhere around there. So yeah, this is a good fight, man. Uros Medic. So he came into the Contender Series. I believe this was my biggest Contender Series bet of all time. When he took on this guy, damn, I can't remember what regional scene he was from, but it was a bad one. And he fought like nothing but complete jobbers. All this dude did was like spam kicks. Like, this dude, like, if you haven't seen Uros's fucking Contender Series fight, I highly suggest you check it out, because it was actually like hilarious. That guy he took on was one of the worst I've ever seen on Contender Series, and that's saying something, because we have seen some bad talent on Contender Series. But yeah, I had a massive bet on Uros Medic there. I think I might have even gotten better than minus 200, to be honest. It was like minus 180 or some shit. But anyway, I digress. I mean, the dude's obviously, like, he himself does not come out of a great regional scene either over in Alaska. Now, I will give him props. He did move out to the U.S. a couple fights ago. He's actually training over at King's MMA, which that's probably a fucking great fit for him, man. And a lot of people will bring up the Jalen fight as far as negatives for Medic, but like, at least he took that first L. He probably learned a lesson in that fight. That fight's probably going to make him better. Not only that, man, Jalen Turner's a fucking beast. Like, the dude is rising the ranks. Like, don't be surprised when he's a top 15 guy. He actually might even be one already. But like, he's a 6'3", former 170 pounder. Omar Morales is a former 45 pounder. Now, I don't know if he ever actually should have gone down that low. That was kind of looked like a tough weight cut for old Omar there, but he's back at 55 here. That's probably the best weight class for him. He's a good point striker, man. Like, the volume isn't low, but like, he kind of can just slow fights down to his pace, and he's just really good at winning minutes. Medic has never been to the second or third round. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be completely terrible for him if it gets there, but like, I mean, goddamn, you gotta favor the guy that's been there many, many times versus a guy who's never been there. Not only that, I mean, he slowed down in the first round against Jalen Turner. So, It's tough, man. I actually think Medic is going to come out here and out kickbox Omar Morales in the first round here, but I must say, as the fight goes on, experience in those later rounds kind of takes over. Omar Morales, he's landed a takedown or two in the UFC. If there was ever a spot for him to land a couple takedowns, it might be this one against a guy who's basically just been a pure kickboxer. So, yeah, I mean, while Medic has a gas tank, this fight's going to be very competitive. It's just hard to believe that it's going to go well for him against a really good minute winner late into the fight. So if he doesn't knock Omar out, I'm going to say Omar takes the second and third round to win 29-28 unanimous decision, and that will be my pick. It might be a dog or pass situation, but going with Omar, man. So moving on to the next fight. Very excited about this one. We got Jailton Almeida. He's minus 600. He's taking on Parker Porter, plus 450. Jailton Almeida, guys. So I've been a fan of this sport for a very, very long time, like 15 years or some shit, maybe even more. It's not very often I see somebody come in out of nowhere and I see them fight for the first time. I look at them like, yo, this motherfucker is special. It's not very often that happened. John Jones, it happened. Goddamn, who? Oh, Khamzat Chimaev. The verdict's still out on this guy, but Ilya Taporia. Who the fuck else? One I was very wrong about was Mirsad Bektic. I thought early in his UFC career, I'm like, this guy's going to be a fucking champion. And then, whoops, durability issues. Whoops, cardio issues. Whoops, losing the third round after 2016ing a guy. Like, that one fell apart, but the skills were there. But what I'm trying to say is this motherfucker, Jailton Almeida, is going to be a problem in the UFC. I know this fight is at heavyweight. Does not bother me one bit. The dude is fucking massive. He's 6'4". He's jacked. He's going to be bigger than Parker Porter, guys. Like, this motherfucker is huge. And it's not just that he's huge and that he's a good athlete and that he's strong as hell. He's very technical. He's a very good BJJ grappler. I think the guy has a very bright future. Now, when we start getting to some tougher tests versus guys that can maybe match his strength and athleticism, can stuff some takedowns, then we can start talking about maybe Jailton Almeida's striking isn't there yet. Maybe his cardio, who knows? Like, there could be some questions asked in the future. I just don't think this is the spot. Like, are you telling me if Jailton Almeida comes in here and shoots a takedown like as explosively and as strongly as he possibly can, are you going to sit here and tell me this dude Parker Porter has even the fucking slightest chance of stuffing that takedown? Come on. It's not going to happen. And you know what? I have a lot of respect for Parker Porter because you know what? Jailton Almeida's original opponent, Maxime Grishin, pulled out of this fight. So Parker Porter's actually taking it on short notice. Now you can, on the flip side, you could say, well, Jailton Almeida is coming up to Parker Porter's weight class. Yeah, fair. But like, Parker Porter's coming in here against a fucking monster that nobody probably wants to fight, especially on short notice. Not only that, Parker Porter's been in there with fucking John Jones. He was, who the fuck did he beat in his UFC debut? It was actually, or maybe he lost his UFC debut to Chris Daukaus. Let me see real quick. Parker Porter. He came in, his UFC debut was the Daukaus one. But then his next one against Josh Parisian, and then the following against Chase Sherman, Alan Boudreaux. Like, this dude Parker Porter, he's very tough and he is skilled. Like, he's unassuming. He just kind of looks like one of the creative fighter fat guy heavyweights in EAA UFC with the tattoos. But like, dude's skilled. I like Parker Porter. I think he can fucking win a lot of fights. He has won a lot of fights. He's 3-1 in the UFC. Like, Parker Porter's a good fighter, man, and he's a good submission grappler of his own. It's just he's going up against a guy who, in my opinion, is special. I think the line is right. I think you could line it even steeper, like minus 1,000. I won't be surprised if it hits there by fight time, honestly. Like, like if you plan on playing Jalen Almeida, the fuck are you waiting for? That shit's about to get steamed more and more every day, especially the in the distance, the under, whatever floats your boat on that one. But Jalen Almeida, takedown, and then either submission or ground and pound inside the first round, in my opinion. So, yeah, Jalen Almeida, he's going to be one to look out for. It's going to be interesting to see him go back down to 205 and the kind of tests he's going to be given. It's going to be really, really fun to watch this guy's UFC career unfold. So, moving on to the next one, we got Joseph Holmes. He's minus 205. He's taking on Alan Amedovski, plus 175. Have not seen Mr. Amedovski in quite a while, ever since that fight where he decided to brawl with a brawler and John Phillips. Like, guys, what's the one thing John Phillips is actually okay at? He's got decent hands and he's got big power. I mean, they don't call him the white Mike Tyson for nothing. So the way Amedovski just came in here and brawled with John Phillips, I mean, that just goes to show the fight IQ on that one. But like maybe one will say, well, what the fuck was he supposed to do? Amedovski's a kickboxer. He doesn't wrestle. I mean, yeah, I get it. But like there's smarter ways to strike with John Phillips than to just completely go in there. And I mean, his plan was, I mean, for whatever reason, he thought he could go in there and just swing until one man falls with a guy with, I mean, John Phillips is what, like 30 fucking fights. Amedovski is a lot less experienced, but here's a different one for Amedovski. Now he's fighting a guy who's a little bit more on his level when it comes to experience. Both guys have, this will be Holmes' 10th fight. This will be Amedovski's 11th fight. So pretty similar experience, but I mean, Amedovski's been in there 15 minutes with Chris Jocko. Now, I know he looked horrible in that fight, but I mean, hey, at least he's been there. Joseph Holmes won UFC experience. He got, he got dominated by Jamie Pickett. Again, I mean, 15 minutes of UFC experience, but like there's a difference between being in there with Jocko for 15 minutes, who, I mean, Christoph Jocko is a guy who's hit the rankings multiple times, versus Jamie Pickett, who has a losing UFC record. Here's the thing, though. I think Joseph Holmes has the way higher ceiling than Amedovski. He's 6'4". He's got a long reach. He seems pretty well-rounded. Most of his wins are by sub, but where I thought he actually looked the best against Jamie Pickett was early in that first round when he was keeping the distance and he was kind of keeping it a nice, pretty technical striking battle. Like, I mean, the guy's pretty well-rounded. Like, I like his striking game. I like his grappling game. He's got a decent amount of amateur experience as well. I think he's got a way higher than a ceiling than a guy like Amedovski, who, I mean, the fight IQ is not there. The skill's really not there anywhere. I mean, the only thing really with him is he has a lot of wins by knockout early. So that's probably what he's going to need here against Joseph Holmes. I don't think it's going to happen, to be honest. It's going to be really, really fucking hard to close the distance versus a guy, 6 inches taller than him with a 6-inch reach advantage. Yeah, I mean, even though it's a small cage, it's not going to be the easiest to close the distance against this guy. And when he does close the distance, I think Joseph Holmes is actually going to fucking tune him up. Maybe a good old club and sub, maybe a knockout. Who knows? We'll see. Either way, the pick is going to be Joseph Holmes. And yeah, I know he's green. I know that performance last time out was bad, and Joseph Holmes is nowhere near the top of my list of prospects. However, he's been given one of the most favorable fights near the bottom of the division in the UFC. So minus 200, I completely understand. So Joseph Holmes, I'm going to say he gets a finish here. I'll say round 2 TKO. Man, we are flying through this card. We are on to the main card. And here's another dog bet, guys. So we got Jun Young Park. He's taking on Eric Anders. Now the line has moved. Jun Young Park, minus 210. Eric Anders, plus 175. I got in on Mr. Eric Anders 2 units, plus 200. Happy about that line, man. I mean, to me, this is a close fight. Now, I understand why Jun Young Park is the favorite. I think that comes to recent performances. I think that stems from he's got a lot more volume. We know the problem with Eric Anders is sometimes he has a hesitancy when it comes to pulling the trigger in certain fights, and it's not every fight though. He's really a hot and cold fighter. Like sometimes he'll come out and fucking look amazing. Sometimes it'll be really, really questionable. Like the Chris Jocko fight. Like I had a bet on Anders against Jocko there. Probably the most frustrating 15 minutes of my entire fucking life because he just did the exact opposite of what I wanted. I wanted him to put some power on Chris Jocko's chin, but like he was so fucking dead set on getting that takedown, and he just sat there trying to double leg Chris Jocko up against the cage for felt like fucking 13 minutes of that fight. I'm sure it wasn't that long, but it felt like that's what the majority of the fight played out as. And man, he wouldn't throw. Like when he wasn't up against the cage, he wasn't throwing. Like it was so fucking frustrating, man. However, in another example, he fought Darren Stewart twice. The first time, he was a big underdog. He came in, he was fucking Darren Stewart up. Like he was hurting him all over the place. I want to say he like dropped him or knocked him down twice. Like he was beating the ever living shit out of Darren Stewart. But then he landed, I want to say it was an illegal strike and it was called the no contest. And then they rebooked it. And instead of being a big underdog, Eric Anders was a big favorite. And it was it wasn't a razor close fight, but like it was sketch. Let's not beat around the bush. It was a really sketchy, didn't look like the guy from the first Darren Stewart fight. So he's very hot and cold. So in my opinion, Eric Anders is a guy you only want to bet at dog money. You're giving me plus 200 against a guy in Jun Young Park who Jun Young Park can be taken down. I know it was a few fights ago, but Fluffy Hernandez got him down like 6 or 7 times. He can be tagged as well. Park's been hurting there, man. He's been in some wars. Eric Anders can hit fucking hard. He's a strong athlete, former college football champion with Alabama as a linebacker. Like Eric Anders he's a fucking top tier athlete, man. I mean, I know sometimes it can be a little slow in there sometimes and hesitant and hot and cold. Like I said, all those things are absolutely true about Eric Anders. But you're giving me plus 200 in a close fight. Got to take the chance. So 2 units plus 200. Let's fucking go, Eric Anders. Moving on to the next one, we got Tabitha Ricci, minus 136. She's taking on Polyana Viana, plus 116. Man, so I got a bet on this one too, man. So we're going to be rocking and rolling in this main card. So I got Tabitha Ricci. I got in at minus 116. Minus 136 now, so a little bit of beaten line movement on that one. I think this is a good matchup for her, man. I mean, I've never been high on Polyana Viana. That's the thing. Like I'm always going to be looking to fade Polyana Viana. I mean, this girl has come in here. She's lost to Hannah Cyphers. She got armbarred by Veronica Macedo in a minute. I want to say there was another fight there where she got the decision, but I thought she arguably could have lost, but I could be wrong. Yeah, I guess I'm thinking of someone else. But like her UFC career, debut against fucking Maya Stevenson, Maya Stevenson's one of the worst WMMA fighters to ever grace the octagon. No idea how she got signed. Didn't win a fight in the organization. Then went on to lose 3 straight against JJ Aldrich, Hannah Cyphers, Veronica Macedo. Now, to Polyana Viana's credit, she did bounce back against Whitmire, but like armbar from bottom, like super, super fucking low level shit. 1 minute in. Next fight, armbar from bottom against Mallory Martin, 3 minutes in. Super fucking low level. Now, against Tabitha Ricci, who actually has a very credentialed BJJ career, who it's been a few days since I looked it up, but she's a BJJ black belt under some pretty fucking legit lineage. She's a real black belt. I don't see, Polyana Viana has shown in the UFC, the proof is in the pudding, that she has been a submission or bust fighter, and I don't think it's going to be fucking easy to submit this girl Tabitha Ricci. So the way I see this fight playing out, like, Man, so even striking wise, like a lot of people will argue for Viana that she's going to have the striking advantage here. And, she might. I think it'll be pretty competitive on the feet. But, like, Tabitha Ricci's actually got some pretty decent movement. I think her hands are getting a little bit better every fight. And she's got some pop to her punches, man. I mean, she's short, she's stocky. Like, she can hit, man. And I wouldn't be surprised if she put some power on fucking Polyana Viana's face there. Another thing, people will argue the size. Polyana Viana's got like a decent height and reach advantage here. Tabitha Ricci, everyone's saying she's too small. Guys, you remember who else was really small against Polyana Viana? Fucking Hannah Cyphers. Her and Ricci are literally like the same build. And Hannah Cyphers came in there. She dropped Viana. I mean, she outworked her. Like, Hannah Cyphers, guys. Hannah fucking Cyphers. Won unanimously against Polyana Viana. And we're gonna keep her closely lined in this fight just because she got a couple arm bars from bottom. But I mean, I just don't, man, it's gonna be really disappointing if that happens here because it seems like Ricci is a fucking legit BJJ black belt. Don't be surprised if she's the one to actually land the submission in this fight, by the way. I mean, Polyana was subbed 1 minute in by Veronica Macedo after all. So, yeah, I think this is a really good spot for Ricci. I think there's some value on this line. I mean, it's lined really close, but I confidently pick Ricci. So, like, I got to fucking make a bet on it. Like, I have no... I could completely make the argument that she should be minus 200 in this fight. I think she's going to be really strong in there. I think she's going to take Viana down. Like, her wrestling's really fucking strong, man. And I don't think Viana has the goods to stuff. She's probably going to welcome that shit because she probably thinks she can get another armbar from bottom. But I don't think it's going to work out well. I think Ricci's going to be able to play it safe on top, do what she needs to do to not get subbed, and probably grind this one out, maybe even get a sub of her own. And one more thing I want to say with Polyana Viana, a big angle in women's MMA in these last couple of years has been the OnlyFans angle. I want to say OnlyFans women MMA fighters have some ridiculously bad record, like 2 or 3 wins and like 10 or 12 losses, maybe even more, some shit like that. It's incredibly bad. You can go and do the research yourself, but it's a very bad record. I mean, whatever you want to chalk it up to, like mindset, looking at life past fighting, whatever you want to call it. So Polyana Viana has made some changes in her life recently. We've seen some pictures floating around on MMA Twitter. She's got herself a new chest, and I'm not talking about the tattoo on her chest. She's also got herself a little knockoff OnlyFans going on. So if y'all are into that, she's selling them $50 a month. So plug to the Polyana Viana OnlyFans wannabe account. But back to the fight. This is Ricci's fight, man. I think this is a good matchup for her. I honestly think the striking could play out close. I don't see Polyana Viana stuffing the takedowns. I don't see her fucking hitting one of those arm bars from bottom. So let's go Tabitha Ricci. Baby Shark for the win. I got 3.48 units on the minus 116. So basically 2 win, 3 units on Tabitha Ricci. Let's go. So moving on to the next one, we got Chidi Njokuani taking on Duško Todorovic. Chidi Njokuani, he has been getting absolutely steamed. He's at minus 245, and Duško Todorovic is at plus 210. So I actually parlayed Chidi Njokuani in this spot. I did not get 245, though. I parlayed him at minus 180, so again, really happy to beat some line movement this week. I love this fight for Chidi, man. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to watch the tape on Duško Todorovic to see that the defense is not there. Like, it's not that he's doing things technically wrong. It's that he's fighting with his hands down and he relies on his head movement. But like, I mean, Puna showed, all it takes is that one good shot to somebody with their hands down. And what the fuck do you expect when you fight like that? Against Chidi Njokuani, who's a 6'3", just assassin of a striker who I have a lot of respect for Chidi Njokuani. I think this is a guy who probably could have been in the UFC years ago. I mean, this guy has been around. This is not your average. I know it's not his UFC debut, but this is not your average newer fighter in the UFC. This is a guy who's been around for a long fucking time, who's taken bumps, in the sport, who has patched up holes in his game, who's bit down on his mouthpiece and fucking grinded, man. We're talking about a guy who's earned his BJJ black belt, like, in the time from when his ground game looked really bad in Bellator. Like, it's no secret. Like, you go back and watch his Bellator career. Yeah, there was a lot of holes in his wrestling and in his ground game, but you know what? He's gone out there. He's earned his BJJ black belt since then. He's clearly more confident as a fighter. You can see it in his striking, and I think that stems from his confidence in his ground game. If he happens to get taken down, he's probably a little bit more confident than he would have been a few years ago. So, man, and you know what, Dushko, he's not even the greatest wrestler. I don't think he's the greatest BJJ guy. Now, yeah, he's got some vicious ground and pound, but I don't think. I mean, even if Dushko comes out here and gets a takedown or two, I don't think it's the end all be all. I don't think the fight's going to be over shortly after. Like, don't be fucking surprised if Chidi is able to like work his way back up to his feet, threaten sub. Like, man. Don't be surprised. I mean, this guy's very seasoned. He's a very serious fighter, man. And Dushko has shown like bad fight IQ, bad defensive decisions. Like, I think this fight has a Chidi finish written all over it. I think he finds one here at some point within 15 minutes. It just seems like it's inevitable with the way Dushko fights. Now, if Dushko decides to change his approach and slow down this fight a little bit and not get so crazy, maybe we see a 15-minute fight here, but either way, I mean, I think Chidi could win a decision if we happen to get there as well. But if we get the Dushko that we're used to, I think, if you watch the tape and you see the defensive flaws and then watch old Chidi Bang go in there and do his thing with the kicks and the hands, like, the dude's a very dynamic striker. So I don't think it's going to go well for Dushko, man. It's just kind of a matter of if he's going to change things up. How much success can he have with the wrestling? I don't know. Now that it's plus 210, if you want to take the shot on Dushko, it's like, I don't completely blame you. I got in on Chidi at minus 180, so a little bit of a big difference there in the line. And I say it all the time. The line is everything in this game. So Chidi Njokuani is going to be the pick for me. I'm going to say he gets it done by knockout in the first round. So moving on to the co-main event of the evening, we got Santiago Ponzinibbio plus 105 taking on Michel Pereira minus 125. People's main event right here, man. Great fight. I tend to agree with the Michel Pereira slight favorite line, and I mean, I'll tell you why. I mean, I think there's a lot of things that go into his favor here. One being just, I don't want to say age, because I don't think they're too far apart in age, actually. They might be, but fight miles. Like, we all know Santiago Ponzinibbio has been some crazy wars over the years. He's taken some damage. Even these fights he's winning against Miguel Baeza, who is clearly still a guy who needs a little bit more grooming. He's still getting hit a lot in these fights, man. And Pereira is a guy who's clearly in his prime. So you got someone kind of exiting their prime versus someone in their prime. I think Michel Pereira has a lot more knockout potential in this fight as well. He's so explosive, and the way Ponzinibbio fights, like, Ponzinibbio is not about to sit here and have like a point striking battle. Ponzinibbio is going to fucking come at Michel Pereira. I just don't think it's going to go well for him, honestly. Like, the way I see it, it's just like, this is a close striking battle where Pereira has a lot of knockout potential. He's got the fight miles advantage. He's improving every time. He's out here winning decisions, man. Like, the knock on him early was his cardio, but now he's out here winning decision after decision. The only problem with that is, even in some of these decision wins, he's still slowing down. And man, if you slow down on a guy like Santiago Ponzinibbio, you're going to have some problems, man. Ponzinibbio is going to be fucking lighting him up if Michel Pereira starts slowing down. Liam Picks Fights, what's up? Excited to hear your takes. Appreciate you coming in, bro. Good to see you. So yeah, I get it. I get why it's still like I favor Bahia, but I guess I see why it's close, man. I mean, Ponzinibbio is he's been to a much higher place in the sport. We're talking about a guy who before he got sick and was off for a couple years, he was on his way to a title shot. Whereas Bahia, he hasn't quite gotten to anywhere near that level yet. But hey, this could be a stepping stone for him in his career. He just has to fight this one smart, man. He's got to conserve energy. He can't just go all out. He has to slow this fight down with Ponzinibbio. He can't just let Ponzinibbio walk him down, or moving backwards the whole fight ain't gonna suit well for him. He's gonna slow down, and eventually Ponzinibbio is gonna tee off on him, man. So Pahea has to either knock him out early, or B, fight a really good fucking smart game plan here, which is possible. He's coming out here. He's paying his dues. He's winning a lot of decisions against decent fucking guys too, man. Fiallo and oh god, what's the other ones I'm missing? Nico Price and Fiallo, Nico Price, and Chaos Williams. Jesus Christ. So yeah, I mean, Pereira has proven himself, man, and I think he has earned that favorite price tag, and I will pick him in this fight, and I will say he knocks out Santiago Ponzinibbio. Not confident enough for a bet, but yeah, he's my pick, and I understand why he's the favorite. So moving on to the main event of the evening, we got Holly Holmes. She's minus 250. She's taking on Ketlin Vieira. She's plus 210. So this is the other half of my parlay with Chidi and Jakawani. So I got a nice little kickboxer parlay here with Holly Holm and Chidi. I got 3 units on it at plus 125. I beat the line on both fighters. So I beat the line on Chidi by 65 cents. And then I think I got minus 225 on Holly. So I beat that one by 25 cents as well. So good stuff. This is a good fight for her, man. I mean, Ketlin Vieira, like I said at the top of the show, this is there's no doubts about it. This is your pure striker versus grappler matchup. Although I will say it's pretty clear Holly Holmes' wrestling base has evolved over the years. Like, she looks super strong up against the cage. Like, she can come out here. She's stuffing takedowns a lot better than she used to. She's out here getting fucking takedowns of her own, bro. Like, I mean, I know Megan Anderson is a complete bum, but just for her to show those new wrinkles in her game, it's impressive. Because early in the early going, we were all like super sketched out about Holly Holmes' potential massive grappling holes, and we eventually saw it against Misha Tate. Her sub defense was what ultimately cost her the belt in that fight. But she's clearly patched things up. She may be 40 years old, but I mean, god damn, you see the shape she's still in? She's still got that six-pack, man. I mean, Holly Holm isn't your average 40-year-old, and not only that, man, I mean, we see a lot of older fighters in women's MMA who are still competing at the highest level. It may not have been a main event caliber fight, but we just saw a 40-year-old coming off a long layoff, and Sarah McMahon, she came out there, looked just like herself, did her damn thing, dominated a fight. I think Holly Holmes is about to come out here and do the same thing, man. I mean, obviously the big worry is the wrestling. Ketlin Vieira, she's a strong girl, and it's not just that she's strong. She's technical as well. I mean, believe she's a black belt. I'm very mistaken if she's not, but I'm pretty sure Ketlin Vieira is a BJJ black belt, and she's a pretty decent one, man. I mean, well, when she gets on top, I mean, it's a problem, but man, some of these fights show me that she's not quite at the elite level that I think Holly Holm is at. And the main one being that Yana Kunitskaya fight where, man, that should have been a W there. It's just like bad mistakes, not doing enough. She slows down. She slows down every fight. Like, she loses the third round in basically every fight. I mean, am I right? So like in a 5-rounder here too against Holly, like, yikes. If we get to the later rounds, I mean, I don't believe Ketlin Vieira has ever been the full 25-minute distance, and we all know Holly Holm's been there many, many times. I mean, Holly Holm has fucking hours of octagon experience at this point. Like, Holly Holm's one of the best fucking women MMA fighters of all time. Like, I see a lot of people talking shit on Holly Holm bettors here, saying that you're betting a fighter in their 40s off a long layoff at minus 200s. And yeah, I get that angle. I just don't think it's going to fucking matter here, man, because Like, yeah, it was a year and a half ago, but like that Irene Aldana performance, you could argue that was Holly Holm's best fucking performance in her career, man. She looked amazing there. Like I said, like the girl's footwork, like she's still fast. I don't see any signs of a slowing down fighter. Of course, I'm a little worried that it's been 1.5 years that we've seen her, and you never know when a drop off in a fighter is going to happen. I just literally have no reason to believe that drop off is going to happen. And I mean, my brain is screaming, my brain and my gut. When my brain and my gut are trying to tell me something, then I think I'm onto something. A lot of the times, my brain will tell me one thing and my gut will tell me the other, and most of the time, I'll stay away. When my gut and my brain are on the same page, we usually got ourselves something. And I love Holly Holm in this parlay here. I mean, just don't get subbed in the first 2 rounds, and you probably fucking got this. Like, if it was a 3-rounder, I think I'd be a little worried that Ketlin would be able to control her for at least 2 out of the 3 rounds. And a 5-rounder, I think she's going to need a sub, because for her to win 3 rounds in a 25-minute fight with Holly Holm, like, that's going to be a fucking difficult task, in my opinion. And say she even does win the first 3 rounds in this fight. We all know how bad she slows down. Holly Holm's got all that 25-minute experience. Like, don't be surprised if she starts teeing off late. Like, we could see a situation where maybe Holly's losing this fight, and then she comes on really strong and fucking puts Ketlin Vieira away. So, hey, if you're a live better, this might actually be a good spot to bet on Holly Holm. Like, if she comes out, gets taken down and controlled for a whole round, and you get minus 150 on her after round 1, fucking like that shit, man. So, yeah, that's it. That's the whole 11 fight card. 51 minutes. That's a little long for an 11 fight card, but hey, I had a lot of shit to say. We have 4 bets. So quickly, I'll recap those bets for you guys. We got the parlay of Holly Holm and Chidi Njokuani. That's 3 units plus 125. I got 3.48 units on Tabitha Ricci minus 116. I got 2 units on Eric Anders at plus 200. And I got 2 units on Vince Morales at plus 185. I love it, man. And hey, don't even count out a fifth bet for me this week, because, I mean, you never know what the line movement's going to bring. I haven't even barely looked at fucking props yet. So, I mean, if there's a prop that sticks out to me, you know what? Let's look at some of the props with you guys right now here on air. So you're going to get my reaction to seeing a lot of these prop lines right now. So let's see. This one will be fun. So Holly Holm, Ketlin, any props that stick out here? I mean, Holly Holm KO plus 450. I mean, hey, she's got 25 minutes to do that. And I've actually cashed a Holly Holm KO prop in the past. I got like plus 400, plus 500, so around the same range on her to win by KO against Betch Gahea, who, I mean, Betch Gahea is a complete punching bag. That was a no-brainer prop for me there. That's actually one of my biggest winners ever. So there, Holly Holm, maybe round 3, 4, or 5, plus 2,500, plus 3,000, some shit like that. Like, those might be okay. Michelle Pahea, Ponzinibbio. What do we got for Michelle Pahea KO? Real quick, Michelle Pahea just got steamed. This line just moved big time. I see minus 142 now and plus 122 on Ponzinibbio. So if you've been thinking about betting Ponzinibbio, this might be the time to strike, because his opponent just got steamed. But anyway, Michelle Pahea KO plus 300. Maybe not quite as juicy as the Holly Holm one, but I don't hate it. Chidi versus Dushko. Obviously, I'm going to look at that Chidi by KO, but I bet you the line ain't going to be good at all. Plus 105, minus 105. Chidi by KO is minus money in some places. So next one, Eric Anders, Jung Young Park. I mean, I usually don't like betting props on the guy who's the underdog, because, I mean, you're already getting plus money. But if you like the Jun Young Park side, I don't think he's going to finish Eric Anders. Eric Anders is literally like one of the most fucking durable guys in the division. Jung Young Park, by decision, plus 100. So, I mean, if you want to turn a minus 210 into a plus money play, Jung Young Park by decision, that's a good fucking way to play it, in my opinion. I don't think he finishes Eric Anders. Ricci and Polyana Viana. Ricci by sub, plus 450. Ricci by decision, plus 165. So if you want to take the shot on Ricci sub, that's not bad. Let's see what Viana is by sub, just for the hell of it, even though I don't think it's going to happen. Plus 400. So they're saying it's about pretty similar chances of a Viana sub or a Ricci sub. I say it's not. I say Ricci has a way better chance to sub her. Jalen Almeida, I've looked at this one in the distance. What's it at now? Minus 275. I see minus 200 in some places. Man, I mean, if you can get anything better than minus 250 on Jantlin to win inside the distance, that's not a bad way to turn a minus 600 into a minus 250. Let's see. Do they think he wins by sub or KO? I'm going to say probably sub. Almeida by sub minus 120. Win by KO plus 260. Hey, if you think Jalen Almeida comes out here and decides to go the ground and pound route rather than the submission route, plus 260 ain't looking too bad. Omar Morales, Uros Medic. If I was going to play a prop in this fight, I don't know. What do we got? Probably a decision. I mean, it feels like Omar Morales is a little bit of a decision machine. So Omar Morales by decision plus 285. You know why it's so high is because Medic has never been past the first round. So that's probably why it's high. Morales inside the distance plus 150. Medic by KO plus 275. Not going to lie, I don't really like the props for this fight. Jonathan Martinez, Vince Morales. Again, I don't like props on underdogs if you're already getting that underdog money, but Vince Morales by KO plus 500. Whew, I like that, man. Or if you want to go Martinez, if you think he's about to rip him up with leg kicks and put him away like Gutierrez did, he's plus 400 by KO. I kind of like the violence in that fight, man. Vince Morales and Martinez are about to they're going to try to kill each other. That's going to be a very nice Latin war in that one. Chase Hooper Colares. I don't think Chase Hooper is about to finish Colares. Colares is about the toughest motherfucker you'll ever find. So Hooper by decision plus 325. That's not really that good of a price if he's plus 160. So if you like Chase Hooper, play him straight. Colares. Do I think Colares could finish Chase Hooper? I mean, Chase Hooper's fucking hard. Has Chase Hooper been finished? I should know this. You know, it's almost as if this is like my biggest hobby and I put hours into this every week. You would think I would know a thing or two. Has Chase Hooper been finished? No, both of his losses are by decision, man. So let's see. Felipe Colares by decision plus 150. Yeah, see, that's not very good. I'd rather bet fight goes to decision at minus 145. I don't think anybody's going to get finished here. And then the first fight of the night, the chick fight. I mean, both chicks are very tough. This fight's probably going to decision. Fight goes to decision minus 325. So if you want to save some money, Hughes by decision plus 215. Reed by decision. It's minus 110 on my book, but it's plus money in a lot of other places. So yeah, I just ran down the props real quick for you guys on all those fights. Hope you appreciated that. If you like me running down the props at the end of the show, let me know, and maybe I can do that a lot more often. That was fun. But we are coming up on the hour mark, so that's it, guys. I appreciate y'all. Real quick, please hit that like button. That's always appreciated. It just takes a second. Subscribe if you're not already, because we're trying to get 100. We're trying to get 1,000 subscribers out here in this motherfucker. So hit that button if you haven't already. That's very, very appreciated. Follow me on Twitter at MMA Kelton. If you're not, I mean, you're fucking missing out on if you're not, because that's where it is. If you're one of these guys watching this on YouTube and you're completely oblivious to MMA Twitter, you've never gone on there before, real quick, drop everything you're doing, make a fucking account. Get involved in the community, because like some of the coolest MMA fans out there are on MMA Twitter, and that's where it's at, man. That's where it happens. That's where I've met a lot of good people over the years, and it's a good old time. So follow me on there. Hit me up with a message. I have it to where anybody can DM me on Twitter, even if I'm not following you. So hit me up. Tell me you came from YouTube, and shit, I'll give you a follow. So, yeah, appreciate you guys. We got through it. I think I just about covered everything. So, yeah, that's it. Appreciate you guys. No card next week, unfortunately. We got a little bit of a break, but hey, that's always nice. You can you can always use that break to do one of two things. You can get a head start on the next card, or you can just completely like kind of separate yourself from this game of capping fights, because man, doing it week after week, looking into all these fights, it's, I mean, people will argue, oh, you're just sitting on the couch watching fight. I mean, this shit's, I mean, it's not for the faint of heart, man. Like, you got to put a lot of fucking work into it. Yes, watching tape can be fucking, it's not exactly hard work, but like, if y'all have sat down and tried to watch hours of tape, I mean, it's not like the easiest thing to do in the world, like, especially if it's a fight you've seen before, but like, it's part of the process. You kind of got to do it to remind yourself of certain things, and it helps, man. Like, it's not the be all end all, but like, watching tape fucking helps, and it's just one of those things I do. But anyway, I'm getting off on a tangent. I appreciate you guys coming in live here. So yep, hit that like button, and that's gonna do it for me. Thank you, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. So later.